Hey everybody, so I just took the FE exam. I've got thoughts. I don't know if I passed yet. I'll find out in 7 to 10 days. I literally just finished it about an hour ago. I stopped and had dinner before deciding to film this. Okay, so I don't know. All right. If you don't know, the FE exam is the Fundamentals of Engineering exam. It's one of 2 tests that you have to take to become a professional engineer. There's other stuff that you have to do, like you have to get a degree from an ABET accredited college, which I have, electrical engineering from Georgia Southern, thank you, and a certain amount of work experience. You got to fill out all these forms, but one of the big steps is taking the Fundamentals of Engineering exam, the FE, and then I'll take the I'll take the PE once I've passed the FE. The PE, I believe, is the Professional Engineering exam. I don't know what it stands for. We just call them the FE and the PE around here. So, I have kind of a lot of feelings, but also no feelings about the exam. So I'll talk about my prep leading up to it. I graduated with my bachelor's back in 2014, so 10 years ago. A little bit less because it was the end of 2014, but whatever. 10 years ago, I got my bachelor's. I got it in electrical engineering, and then I've done basically almost no electrical engineering since then. So I thought it was probably a pretty bad idea to try and take the FE in electrical. You get to choose a subject area to focus on in your FE. There's some categories that come up on all of the FE exams, like ethics, I think, is part of all of them. And then, there are some more specialized ones, and so you have to pick which one you want to do. So for my whole career, like since 2014 till now, I've done a combination of controls engineering, computer engineering, and industrial engineering. Last year, I graduated from my master's program in engineering management. And so as I was looking through the different exams that I could take, the topics on the industrial engineering exam lined up a lot with the topics that I had just studied for my master's. So it seemed pretty good. Also, I specialize in human factors engineering at my job, over my career, which is part of the industrial engineering exam. So that's how I narrowed it down. I spent a lot of time thinking, maybe I could go back and learn analog circuits, AC circuits. No, I don't want to. I might need to for my career over the next year. I've been talking to my boss about it, and he has emphasized that it might be good for me to re-up some of those skills, but I just don't. It's not a passion of mine. I'll do it if that's what the company needs. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. So I narrowed it down, looked at all of the topics, considered the fact that, I haven't really touched the electrical engineering side of things in a very long time. Controls was probably my runner-up. I forget what it's called. It's like systems and controls or something. And that one I could probably have done as well, but I don't have a lot of training in the overall world of controls. So the FE exam is it's very knowledge-based. It is meant for people who have just graduated with their bachelor's. The school side of stuff is fresh in your brain. The PE, for what I understand, is probably going to be more practical. I don't know. We're not going to think about that until I know if I passed. Alright? So, for the FE, I wanted something that had a reasonable amount of recent knowledge on. Also I did my PMP 2021, I think it was 2021. It may have been 2020. I don't know. It was during the pandemic. I think it was 2021. Uh, but so a lot of those also show up on the industrial. So I had PMP in my pocket. I had my engineering management master's in my pocket. I had human factors in my pocket. It seemed like a good choice. So from there, I tried to find online exams, and if I could change anything about how I studied, and if I need to retake this is what I would change. I would do just like a bunch of practice exams, because that's how I learned best. I did really well the second time I took the SAT, because between the first time and the second time, I did a million practice tests for the math section. The math section I did amazing on. The like written and vocab section, not so much. But I'm an engineer. It was okay for me to slack on those bits at the time. Anyway, and the PMP, that was another thing that I did. I took a bunch of practice tests. I went over all of the practice questions that I could find, and I got high marks in all of the categories on the PMP. So that, when I'm taking these kind of standardized sort of tests, that's what works for me. Find out what works for you if you're watching this preparing to take the FE. That's tip number one. I guess tip number one is think about your combination of schooling and work experience when picking which topic you want to go for. Tip number two is figure out your learning style for standardized tests and go for it. For me, I should have done a lot more practice tests. And then what I did is I signed up for the School of PE. So in the School of PE, they have a different tiers that you can sign up for. And I think within there, they have practice exams. And so I really should have done more of those. What I did instead was I watched watched a lot of their videos for the industrial engineering side of the house. And it was very helpful. Except for the subjects that I already had knowledge on, it was very difficult for me to focus on the videos, because I would watch a little bit and be like, oh yeah, no, I know that. And so that I'd skip ahead and probably skip some things that I needed a refresher on or that I didn't know. Like from the project management side of the house, there's just a lot of terminology that, other than while you're learning it or if you're teaching it, doesn't get used very much. And so while I have a good grasp of the concepts, when they say, how is a Tamagotchi customer wanting this to happen? Tamagotchi is not the word. Tamagotchi is a cute little like pet thing that you video game from the 90s. They brought it back. I just got one for my nephew, I think, recently. Anyway, focusing. So that was how I did most of my prep for this, was watching the School of PE videos. But I didn't schedule my time right, and I also didn't watch any of them for the whole month of February. I took the exam March 12th. So not smart. I kept postponing my exam. So you, up until 48 hours before your exam, you can postpone it for a fee of $50. And I postponed it so many times that I effectively paid double for this exam, which was real dumb on my part. I should have just stuck to my study schedule and created a more realistic study schedule to begin with before I set my exam date. Anyway, I don't know, because I don't know if I passed or failed. I don't know if any of this is good advice. This is just my gut reaction of things. Looking back, I wish I had done differently. But maybe it all worked out. Who knows? So, watched a bunch of those videos. I did do some practice problems. I bought some practice tests. But I didn't do all of them. I should have. There were definitely some materials science questions on there that I've never had to think about before. It was not included in engineering management. It was not included in my PMP. It was not part of any of my work experience. Uh, so that was one thing. And then day of the exam today. My company is so great and will pay, or like will give you 8 hours of paid time to go take your exam, which is awesome, which also just like makes me really hope that I pass, because it'd be really embarrassing to tell them like, hey, you paid me those 8 hours, got nothing to show for it. But so I was able to take the day off. If I have to take the exam again, I'm gonna like schedule it for a Friday or a Saturday. I mean, a day that I'm not working, because that would be very embarrassing to have to ask for another one of those. Anyway, my exam started at noon. They had different schedules. Like every time I moved it, they had different time slots available. But I signed up for noon, which was great. I got to sleep in today. I was very well rested. I brought some snacks and a water bottle. You can't bring those into the room, but you get one 25-minute break where you can go and drink those, or drink your water, eat your snacks, whatever. And then, so I think you have a total of, I forget if it's 6 or 7 hours, somewhere in that range, to take the exam. You do 55 questions, and then you get your 25-minute break, and then you do 55 more questions, 110 total. And they're split up into different topic areas, like engineering economics, electrical engineering. Like, I had to do a couple of electrical engineering questions, even though it wasn't an electrical engineering exam. You know what I mean? There's 10, 12 topics depending on which one you're taking. So there'll be a few from each of them. They tell you ahead of time, like, expect this many from this topic, etc. So you have to be careful in the first half of the exam that you leave enough time for the second half, because it's not like, oh, you get 3 hours and then a break and then 3 hours. You get to, like, however long it takes you to do the first half, that's how long it takes you. If it takes you 5 hours and you get a 25-minute break, then you only have an hour, 2 hours left. But so I tried to be pretty good with my time and take the break at the halfway point. There were some questions that I may have rushed through on the first half. But then in the second half, it went by so quickly. There were a few that I just did not know the answer. I did not know the answer to, and I was never going to know the answer to it. I had no basis for it. I looked, you have a reference manual. I looked through the reference manual, didn't see anything helpful, and so then I just guessed. And another thing that I would recommend doing is find out if you leave a question blank, or if you get it wrong, is it the same number of points off? I don't know. I knew that at one point in my life, and then today, as I was doing the exam, just completely forgot. And I still don't know. If I have to take it again, or definitely before the PE, I will commit that to memory. That's an important one. But so the ones that I didn't know, I did just guess. I hope they don't get taken off. So all in all, I think there's maybe 10% that I wasn't positive on, or that I had less that I had no basis for. There were a couple of them that I got it down to 2 answers that I was in between, because with industrial engineering, there are a lot more answers that are like, how would you handle a situation? Why would this technique be better than this technique? I mean, I don't know how the other exams are, but it is slightly less math-based. It's more qualitative kind of questions. Oh, and the other thing is they have a bunch of them where the question ends with, which of these is most nearly correct? Which means that the answer that you get might not be on the list, which from like most of the exams I've ever taken in my life, especially the multiple, like if it's multiple choice and the answer you get isn't on the list, then you did something wrong. But not here, no. if your answer's not on the list, that might be by design. Anyway, so we'll see. We'll see how I did. I did not take my 25-minute break. I preferred to just keep pushing through. So in total, from walking in the door till I walked out the door, it was right about 4 hours, and that included getting all registered in the beginning, getting set up, they do like a little tutorial on how the computer-based exam system works, like all of that combined. I was right at 4 hours, which was great. I left and it was still light out. You don't have any clocks or anything in the room, and so it's kind of hard to tell. Like, you have the timer for your particular exam, but it's just counting down, so I didn't know, because I still don't know if you get 6 hours or 7 hours on the clock. Anyway, there was about a little bit over an hour left on my clock whenever I finished up. There were 2 that were left that on the second half of the exam, where one of them, I didn't even know the question was asking, honestly. That one I fully don't even know what the question was. And then there was another one where I understood the question, but I was expecting to have a formula for it, and I could not find the formula. And I'm sure the formula is in there. Another tip for taking the FE during your study time, get really familiar with the manual, the reference manual, which of course everybody told me. Also, I got really confused leading up to it, because I remember seeing somewhere that there's an exam built into the computer program, the interface that you're using. But then I kept seeing like everybody saying I needed to go get a physical calculator to do the exam, and here's the list of acceptable calculators, and blah blah blah. Okay, great. So I went to Goodwill, I got a calculator. There's only a few of them that are allowed, not graphing calculators, obviously. But so I was able to find one, luckily, this last Saturday at Goodwill. Also found a graphing calculator, which, for any of you that are here from Resell Rabbit, we put it online on eBay, and it sold within hours, which was amazing, because I paid, I forget, like $3 for it, and it sold for $50. Graphing calculators, if you find them at Goodwill, get them. Anyway, so I wasn't super familiar with this particular calculator, because it was, I only bought it, a few days before the exam, so I didn't have it for any of my practice problems. So I hadn't used it very much. It was the same model that I had in high school, so it wasn't like completely foreign, but yeah, that was another one. Get your calculator ahead of time. You can bring certain calculators into the exam with you. Make sure you've got the right one, and do all your practice problems with your calculator and your reference manual. Because there were a bunch of them on the practice exams where I was just like, I'm pretty sure that's in the reference manual. Just gonna skip that, or get the equation to the form that I was pretty sure was in the reference manual. Skip that. But yeah, trying to do the practice ones as real as the exam would have been very helpful. And then, yeah, that was pretty much it. They were very strict on all their different security measures to make sure that nobody's bringing in outside information that they're not supposed to have. I don't think I'm supposed to give away all of their secrets of the different things that they do. But one of the ones I was not prepared for was they do take your picture, and it's not photograph ready. It's not used for anything other than, making sure that I didn't switch places with somebody in the bathroom, I guess. I don't know. So that was an experience, but yeah, just be aware. Like, I've got a Fitbit that's just not allowed inside. They had to look at my glasses. Just was not expecting how thorough it was. Also, the exam center that I was at was under construction. Like, the portion that was separated for the exam and the company and everything was fine. It was great. It was clean. They weren't doing construction in that area. Other parts of the building were very much under construction, and they were, it was loud at some point. So they gave me earplugs, and you had noise canceling headphones and stuff. So it wasn't going to change how I did on the exam, but it was definitely unexpected. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much else to say about exam day. I left. They gave me a sheet of paper telling me how to, like, what to expect for getting my results and everything. Said about 7 to 10 days, which, from my research online, it looks like they release exam results on Wednesdays. So I don't know if I'll be in, I think, obviously not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, or I don't know when you're watching this. Around the 20th is when I'm expecting I'll see my results. Walking into the exam, I was feeling like I had maybe a 40% chance of passing. Leaving the exam, I was feeling more like 80%. And they base your pass or fail off of, like, everybody else who takes the exam in the same time period as you. So hopefully everybody else who took the exam in that period was real stupid. I just had a bad exam day. That's terrible. I hate feeling like that, but I do kind of feel like that, you know? Like, my pass or fail is slightly dependent on how other people did. Well, that's no good. For the industrial engineering exam, there's about a 60% pass rate overall. I don't remember the exact number, but for the first time you take the exam, it's around 60%, which is not very high compared to some of the others. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know when I find out the results. I am a little bit anxious about it. Not too bad. I got out of the exam. I wasn't expecting it to be still light out, but like I said, I was only in there for about 4 hours. So it was 4 p.m. when I walked out the door. Oh, that was not a thing to do with my hair. And John's in Vegas right now, so I didn't get to, like, go talk to him about it right away. I texted him, but he's busy doing ASD things. If you know, you know. And so I decided to go celebrate by myself. 'Cause even if I, pass or fail, I still took the exam, which the first time I signed up for it, I just skipped. I did not show up. I was a no-show. This was back in, like, 2016 or something, shortly after I graduated. And then for the last few months, I've just been postponing the exam many times. So I am excited that I actually showed up and I did it, and it gives me a starting place. Like, if I need to take it again, I know the experience and I'm not worried about that, and I have a better idea of how I would study if I did it again. Mostly, like I said, taking lots and lots of practice tests. And I sat here, so to celebrate, I went to Green's Poorhouse down in Neenah. I feel like I've mentioned it on videos in the past, but if I haven't, I used to live in Neenah, Wisconsin, and it is my favorite restaurant up here. I think I can say that. Normally, I don't like having one favorite. I was like, oh, it's my top 5. I'm pretty sure it's my favorite restaurant in Wisconsin. So I went there. I got the Richter scale burger, which is a little bit spicy, and then I went for a walk down to the library over there, and now I'm just sitting on in the bay, the what's it called, where all the like boat docks are. I don't know, whatever. But it's so pretty out. It's the middle of March, which I was not expecting it to be nice out. But it's, I think, record high for this day for March in Wisconsin, or at least this part. Which just means it's in the 60s, which is my preferred weather. A little windy, not too much, and mid 60s, so I can wear blue jeans without feeling uncomfortable. I have medium length Pizza John shirt on. Yeah, it's a lovely day. If I'd brought my headphones, I would have walked around for much, much longer just listening to an audiobook or Taylor Swift. I've had her 7th album stuck in my head. I think it was 7. All day. Which was kind of annoying during the test. I was trying very hard not to sing to myself because there were lots of other people taking lots of other tests. Anyway, if you have any questions about taking the FE, or have you taken it, or are you thinking about taking it, I know most of my standard followers, my everyday followers, are not necessarily in engineering. But if you found this video from somewhere other than your subscription feed, let me know. I am excited and nervous about my results. I'm trying not to get my hopes up that the test was as easy as I think it was. But, like I said, there's a chance I'm gonna have to take it again, and this time I'll be better prepared. Well, let me know. Oh yeah, so if you have any questions about it, if you're thinking about taking it, if you've taken it, talk to me in the comments. Let's reminisce or plan to help you be better prepared than I was. And yeah, I don't know, you guys. I don't know. All right, good night, sweet dreams.